Good morning. Had a really nice thunderstorm last night. It was light rain from like 9 to midnight, and then it came in really heavy. Apparently there was a little bit of hail just south of here. 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So really had to batten down the hatches here, but got to jump on it because saw it coming. So all is well. It's still a little damp around camp, but good time to work on the shed in a box. So it's coming along pretty well. So a few hours have gone by and I got quite a bit of stuff done, but again I had to go to town to get a bunch of stuff. I'll show you what I got. But also made some good progress on this. So now it's basically in 3 sections: the front, the back, the rear, which is the same as this. It's one piece like this, and then one giant piece for the rest of. You throw the whole thing over, and it kind of overlaps the edges, keeps it rain tight. So yeah, that's all set. Ratchet straps are holding it down in place. So got 2 of them in each corner, one for the front cover and then one for that outside larger one. So that's almost done. The only thing that has to be done yet is these bottom sections have to be braced together. So after that we'll be done. Got next thing I'm going to try is bring that whole pump up the hill a little bit, because it's rated for 25 feet. People online say it goes 50 or 40 to 50 feet, and right now it's only 15 to 17. So my thinking is its primary purpose being a pull pump as opposed to pushing. If I can get it uphill and push the motor more that way, then hopefully it can just free flow out here. So picked up another 1 inch by 20 foot intake to attach to the one that's already going down the hole. And then for the shed in the box, we picked up 4 sets of what are they, 36 inch wide by 18 inch deep by 74 inches high, 7 feet high, about 6.5, I guess. No, it's 7, a little more than 7. So we're gonna try and stack those up in there, and probably do that later after sunset, because it's a little quieter and I can work in there being covered. So yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. And also picked up a new chain for our chainsaw, so I can actually start on that Bushcraft shelter more. I was going to try and do everything by hand with that, all the cutting and everything, but the limited time that I have here, I do want to enjoy the process still, but I want to also be able to get it done and make it usable. And it's Monday now. I still have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, most of Friday before people start showing up. So 3 or 4 days, and I've been go. So I'd like to finish up the shelter, the shed in the box, the shelving, and see how far we get on the water. So, and other than that, yeah, just a lot of cleanup. There's stuff all over the place inside the cabin. So that shed in the box is really going to come in handy. We're going to need that space for people to stay here. So yeah, we'll keep grinding. So yeah, this is what it looks like as of now. Still So basically just gonna add this 20-foot in addition to, put this to this, move this whole apparatus up the hill in that direction. That way it's not, yeah, it's another 20-foot hose, but it's not coming like straight up. So we'll give that a go. So we got it fully primed, got all the lines run. It's the same amount of line from the outtake to the cabin too that we're running right now. I haven't cut it shorter, although that would help. But this is kind of more of a test to see if moving the whole pump uphill has a positive net effect and if it has an easier job of pushing it to the cabin. So let's give it a go. So it ran longer that time, so it seems more promising, but let's take a look at the other end, see if there's any water and how much. Success! We've got a pretty full jug here actually, and I had to shut it off. So yeah, since I last turned the camera off, I cleaned the sediment filter and made sure everything was primed again, just because of that long tube. And this time the Drummond 1 horsepower pump, actually the PSI didn't, it usually triggers at 50, that's when it shuts off automatically, 50 PSI, and ideally it runs at 23. So, but this time it stayed consistently in between 25 and 30, which is a good number to be at. So it's not taxing the system. I actually had to shut it off this time around. So really happy. Now we got to figure out the next step of filtering, or yeah, if we want to attempt one more filter down at that end right after the sediment filter, or up here at some point, either pre or post the water tank. So, but anyway, really good progress. So, just to sum up what happened last night, water is being pumped quite well and quite fast, PSI wise, all the way up here. I did a little thumb test and I could not stop the water pressure. It doesn't hold that pressure for a long time, but it does really shoot it out for maybe 30 seconds, which is probably 5 gallons, maybe more, probably more, I don't know. Also the Bushcraft shelter out back that way, so the chainsaw's having a little bit of issues, but I used just regular hand tools to get some good supports, and also some cross beams cut up last night to size, or to rough size I should say. So I'll show you that in a little bit. It was too dark to get on film. The shed in a box is complete. It's standing, and it's standing well, and I've got three shelving systems in there right now, so that's looking good. Might level out the ground in there. It's a little uneven, so might take a shovel to that and a rake. And yeah, that'll give me the flexibility to clean out the cabin finally and make room for people. And so that's where we're at. So the Bushcraft shelter here is slowly taking form. I've got the front brace here that's about 12 feet long. Got the rear one. It's about the same length. And I'd like maybe one of these makeshift rafters per foot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So maybe get like 4 or 5 more of these to go over top. And then there's going to be a tarp that covers that whole top, then goes down in the back, covers that, and then we'll fill in the sides with at least like 3/4 up with more timber, so trees. So yeah, that's gonna take a lot of logs, but want to make it nice. And also we'll be covering that tarp with debris and pine needles and stuff like that to make it look more natural, but just want to be able to keep the rain off. So, and we'll also be probably building a little bed back here, like a raised bench that comes out maybe 2 feet. Yeah, probably about 2 feet and maybe 16 inches off the ground. So, but next up, I'm gonna try and brace these 2 main supports. Okay, so it's getting to be a good height here. It's like 5'2", and if I can make the tarp project just a little bit over top on the outside, I might actually just leave it at this height. That way I got a tiny bit of a window if I want to peek out. So I'm going to leave that for now. We'll keep working. So the tension of these, I definitely learned something through this process. I should use mid-size at the bottom and then kind of go out to larger in the middle. I mean, it basically depends on the orientation of the two stakes that you're using to hold all these in. But depending on those on the contour of that, kind of work with that. As you can see, some of these are, it's more of a balancing act than super tight. But in the case of right here, I kind of used a shim. I'll probably do the same down there. Just to, there's the variability in size and contour of all the logs is different, obviously. So cedar's fairly straight, so that's pretty good, but it'll help to use shims here and there. Same for this side. Oh yeah, also tying off this to this nice and tight at the top. Same for back there. That's and then what I did over there, same thing. This one here seems to be holding pretty good right now, so I'm gonna wait on tying that one off. But yeah, I got maybe 2 feet further to go on this one, and then I gotta decide. I'll finish up the bed and then decide how to handle the rear wall. I'm kind of thinking going for thicker diameter stuff. So in order to do that, I'm gonna have to come at all these ends, all the excess on the ends, chop them all off down to that, and then that'll give room for the whole rear wall to kind of overlap a little bit. So that's the plan. Alright, so I got a little zoom in on the valve here, or the gauge, so you can kind of see what happens. So I'm going to get the generator started here, and then hopefully we'll get some decent flow. Should make it up to about 62, then it'll automatically shut off. But yeah. Generator overloaded. It almost made it. Let's try it again here. Okay, so that was a really good run. It eventually shut off, the pump did. So let's go ahead and take a peek at how much we got here. Turn on the garden hose, and let's check it out. Oh yeah, by the way, this is at, the gauge is at 52. Okay, there's one 5-gallon bucket. I gotta find a new spot to dump this stuff. Let's try number 2. We're still at 34 pressure now. Quite a bit of drop off. Alright, we got about 8 gallons. So the system still needs some tweaking, but that's pretty good. So it's starting to get dark, but making such good headway on everything. I want to keep working, so I'm going to start framing up the shower area. So what I'm thinking is these are 8-foot long treated 2x4s, so they'll hold up pretty well to weather. But I'm going to come down to 6 foot, so we'll have 4 of those surrounding, and still got to figure out if we want 3x3 or 4x4 as far as how large the actual stall or whatever you want to call it will be. But anyway, I definitely want 6 foot, and it's going to be pretty freestanding. It's going to need to support a water heater that we have, propane water heater. But anyway, let's get going here.